What's good, everybody? This is Generation 71 coming back to you with another episode of Let's Play Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Last time we ended up, I honestly don't remember what we talked about in the last episode, but I actually do have a couple topics this time, like I did say I would do. And why am I doing this again? Did I already finish this? I thought I did. Well, whatever. Let's hope I don't mess up as much as I did last time. I actually should be a little bit more competent this time around, but we'll see. But anyways, yeah, I actually have one topic that actually came to mind right before I actually started recording, and it's something that I honestly thought all, I guess not necessarily 6th graders, because I guess it'd be 5th graders now for at least my particular area, but it's what I thought all elementary school people actually had to go through. But it turned out that I guess, I don't know if it's just my state or if it's also just like my town, but in 6th grade and back in the day, we actually had elementary school that went all the way up to 6th grade, and then it would be 7th, 8th, and 9th in junior high, and then 10th, 11th, and 12th for high school. And so with that, when you pretty much graduated elementary school, if you can really call it that, we actually had this thing that was called Eco Week. Now, I actually learned from a couple people that not a lot of people, in other, either states or even cities had what was called Eco Week. Essentially what that was, it was a whole week of you going with your whole 6th grade class to either like a nearby resort. For us, it was like a resort in the mountains, since we were actually right by the mountains. And we stayed up there for a week. We did some hiking, we did some swimming, and it was just some time outdoors, And it was a really interesting experience because essentially this was before I had because I had asthma, but I didn't take it as seriously because I was a kid. So obviously kids don't really take things all that seriously. So this was before I was like, oh, I should probably bring my inhaler. So actually a lot of the activities were a little difficult for me, including the hikes. The first hike was actually 8 miles up and 8 miles down, and it was a nice hike. I mean, it was, great backgrounds and nature and all this stuff. That's probably why I actually don't like to go camping. That's probably because of why, to be honest. But yeah, it was a good trip. I mean, we went up, went down, and then all the way at the top of the mountain, there was actually a pretty cool lake, and it was kind of like secluded there. But as secluded as it could be, considering everybody who hiked that went to go see it. So as secluded as it could be. But it was just interesting to know that I was one of the few people that actually got to experience that in elementary school. So it's kind of cool. Some of the other activities we did, like I said, swimming, but because of me, I guess, being really sore from the hike, as soon as we went swimming, I just legitimately kind of just laid in the corner and was floating there, just like, please don't move me, I hurt so much. So it was an interesting time, and I mean, I'm glad I went, obviously, like, why wouldn't I be glad? But it was just, again, I honestly thought that it was just a standard thing. I mean, obviously, different states have different rules on what they do, and I can't believe I died there. But they have different things of what they do for, their particular schools. But I honestly thought, growing up, that's what everybody had to go through. So, but yeah, it was a cool experience. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Oh, and another thing that I know not a lot of other schools had, and I understood that, was, wow, I died to the same freaking bomb. Wow, that's ridiculous. Okay. Growing up in elementary school, we had pretty much a winter recital every single year, but we actually had a music teacher that I guess was actually really good friends with one of our local theater production places, and so we were actually able to perform our recitals. Oh, hello! Don't you dare blow me up. We were actually able to perform our recitals in an actual theater, so I always thought that was kind of cool because, I mean, if you've never been on a stage like that, it's kind of intimidating because, I mean, you see, all these lights in the background, and then when you actually step out there and you see this, like, gigantic audience, I mean, sure, like, with our audience, it was all just family and friends, but still, it's a little bit intimidating, and that's what I need that for. Okay. I'm taking the Yoshi with me. It will always be for me. Together forever. You'll be in my heart. Anyways, but with that, it was just kind of cool to see that, or to know that that was something that we got to have. But unfortunately, I guess they were waiting for their oldest, who was in that elementary school, to finish elementary school. And they actually ended up moving to North Dakota. I want to say North Dakota. Somewhere in the Dakotas, I know that. And so my very last year in elementary school, we didn't actually get to do the whole recital in actual theater. And I mean, I wasn't too upset about it. I mean, it would have been cool to have like the last year of 6th grade, actually aware of what was going on and, being able to experience that one last time. But it was still pretty cool to do that in 5th grade anyways. Um, and it's so crazy to think too, because I actually recently went back to that same center. Well, I guess, okay, not recently. I think it was earlier this year, and I ended up going for. It wasn't a magic show; it was a violin show. I actually went for my sister because she was actually interested in the violin. So she's like, "Yeah, we should go see this show," and I was like, "Okay, as long as you're paying." And yeah, this whole thing. So we went there, and it's crazy how it changed because it used to be just kind of a standard theater, nothing too fancy, and that's a red level. Oh, okay, I know what I missed. It's one of the freaking. Well, okay, I guess I need to finish every single exit. So give me a second here. Um, with that, yeah, it was just a standard theater. It wasn't too special. It's kind of almost like movie theater-ish without like a concession stand. Wow, I can't believe I couldn't say that. But when I went recently for my sister and with the violin concert, wow, I did so well at the beginning of this video, and now I'm just dying constantly. But going there recently, it changed. It in a way, it kind of got ritzier. Like that's the best way I could describe it, because now they actually had like a. I guess it's like an open bar. I mean, I guess that's what you want to call it. But yeah, they literally had kind of like well, not a concession stand, but they had a bar where you could have all these different wines, and I guess that you could have little appetizers as well. And then it just wasn't as, I guess, normal as it was back in the day. And it was really strange to see that, because I was like, I had an idea of what I was going to go into, but then seeing it change so much, I was like, whoa, that is a little weird. So, but it was still cool to see. And then I would have gotten, some wine, but then after I had to drive home, so it probably wouldn't have been a good idea. But it was still pretty cool, pretty cool. And the concert itself was actually, I liked it, because it just goes to show you like how I've preached so much on YouTube, is where you don't necessarily need to think of an original idea anymore, because honestly, most of the original ideas are gone. I mean, if you can somewhat think of one, I'd be very surprised if you could. But honestly, what most people do these days is they take ideas that are already like present, but they kind of alter them. So like with these, like the black violin, they ended up playing, classical music as a good foreground, good base of their musical reputation. But then they started, developing different types of music, and they developed the standard violin into kind of like a hip-hop-ish violin. So that's exactly what I mean, where you're taking something that's already present, but you're kind of developing it to something new, so reskinning it so it'll attract more people. So that's kind of cool to see that. That's a great example of how that's being implemented. And here, you gotta give me a second here, because I always forget which, was it? No, it's not, that's the first one. This is for this stupid. And then I think this is actually gonna put me past the pipe I need to go. Ooh, first round. That's, this kind of, I don't know why this game kind of reminds me of Tic-Tac-Toe for some odd reason. And then, I just, because I guess these brown blocks with the lines kind of remind me of X's. So it's like, if you get it right, you get it O. If you get it wrong, you get an X. But no, then that just puts me back down there. And then, yeah, in case you guys are wondering, you can't do those games multiple times once you go through it. And if you go back and try to do it again, it's not going to work. It'll just be like, nope. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, why is that shell there? But the shell's to actually hit. Whoa, okay, that tomato almost tried to kill me. Anyways, I should be talking about another story, not the freaking game. I gotta remember that. I'm trying to think of more things that I actually had. Oh, well, kind of a cool story, kind of a random story. And then again, I'm trying to be more linear, so I'm trying to actually tell more stories about elementary school. I kind of had a weird experience. It was kind of a cool experience, but a weird experience not everybody has. But my kindergarten teacher, which he was awesome, his name was Mr. Toplin, and he played us guitar when we were in kindergarten. I remember that, and there's a lot of stories in kindergarten that I'll probably get to eventually. But with that, I think it was after our 3rd grade, he actually switched over from kindergarten teacher to a 6th grade teacher, because he wanted to teach his kid 2 times, because he actually had a kid who was in the same elementary school. I was like, yeah, I want to do it twice. So not only am I gonna be there for him in kindergarten, I'm gonna be there for him in 6th grade as well. So I was actually kind of fortunate to not only have him as a kindergarten teacher, but he was also my 6th grade teacher as well. So, and he was actually there for a couple years after. Like, he didn't automatically say, "Oh no, I'm done," and I actually got to go do that at the castle real quick. It's like I'm done as soon as my kid is done with school, elementary school. No, he said that he was actually going to stay there until the last kindergarten class he had taught was the last sixth grade class that he taught. So I thought that was kind of cool, an interesting way of putting it. And that actually, okay, this is going to be really, really random, and I swear, I kind of remember it, but kind of don't. But in sixth grade, we kind of had like this sort of class, but not. So obviously, with elementary schools, at least I would assume most elementary schools, you had one teacher for everything. So, English, whatever. English, history, geography. It's all done in the same classroom. But in sixth grade, I guess since our sixth grade teacher, Mr. Toplin, and then the other sixth grade teacher had, I guess, different expertise. Mr. Toplin actually taught geography, and I can't believe I died to that stupid saw. And the other sixth grade teacher taught science. So our classes would actually switch every now and then. One time during a science class, though, we had to assemble, I guess, some things with like common household items. We'll call it common household items, even though it's not really all that common. But there was these clothespins, these kind of like wooden pegs, and these like this castle's gonna piss me off now. Yeah, golden thumbtacks and just a bunch of different things. And then I remember, I'm not sure exactly how I assembled it, but essentially I put two clothespins together. One of the clothespins actually held one of the wooden pegs, and in the wooden pegs I actually had like two cut slots that you can kind of put things on. And then with that, then I put a rubber band in those slots, and then the way it was assembled, you were actually able to, when you actually like unhooked or at least like put pressure on the clothespin, the rubber band would release and the golden peg would go flying out. And you might think it's not that big of a deal, but I actually was able to get one of the golden pegs into a wall. So that's why I kind of want to remember how to actually make that, because I want to make it again. But honestly, I'll probably never remember it, and even if I do remember, I'll probably never get these supplies because I'm lazy. I'm not gonna lie. But that was always just one of the things that kind of stuck out to me. Is like, yeah, I made such an awesome device. It's kind of like Daryl's crossbow. If anybody watches The Walking Dead, I'm gonna pretend it's like that. Oh god. And I swear, saws are gonna be the death of me here. And I knew I was gonna hit that stupid fireball. Okay, I'm just gonna take this slow. I tried to be fancy and try to spin jump off all these ones, but that didn't work last time. And no. Okay, and I forget why that's there, but that was always something that stuck out to me. And another one. I have a lot of stories from elementary school now that I actually got that. It was funny. So when I think it was up until third grade, we had an art teacher. So I guess with art and music, obviously you had those specific teachers, but anything like the basic, general education, it was always done by one single teacher. But with our art teacher, I had an art teacher, and her name was Miss Webb. But I guess after I hit third grade, she decided she wanted to be actual just regular fifth grade teacher. So I actually had her as my fifth grade teacher. But as I found out, I think it was my eighth grade year of junior high, she actually had to stop teaching because they found out that she actually didn't complete her license to be like an actual permanent teacher. Like, she could have been an art teacher, no problem, but to actually be like a elementary fifth grade teacher, I guess she didn't finish certain classes that she needed to for her degree, which I'd never understood that, but I always thought that was kind of interesting too, how that happened. And I think she ended up finishing it, either that or she moved to Africa. I honestly don't remember, because I think somebody said that she might have moved to Africa, but it could have just been one of those stupid rumors. Stupid fireball, same time as last time. Okay. And then I'm trying to think of one more story. Well, I guess I can just kind of encompass everything. So, So my kindergarten teacher was, of course, Mr. Toplin. My first grade teacher. Seriously, why am I having so much trouble with this level? These saws are the death of me. They want to cut me in half. I don't understand. Cutting is bad for your health. In case you didn't know, stop being so emo. But with that, yeah. So first grade teacher, Miss Monteith. She was awesome. Second grade teacher, Miss Turner, worst second grade teacher to ever have. She was, I guess, really grumpy and unhappy with life, so, like, she would be really strict. Stupid soul! She'd be really strict and just start yelling at you for random reasons, and everybody in the school, even, like, the sixth graders. It's weird saying that, being 21. Yeah, but even the sixth graders were scared of her. So, she was a really bad second grade teacher to have. Third grade teacher, Miss Turner. She kind of reminded me of Miss Monteith because for some reason Miss Monteith and Miss Turner always like reminded me of dentist for some reason. I'm not sure why. They just kind of had like the dentist vibe of them. I don't know. It was weird. Fourth grade teacher, Miss Chastain, which she just sticks out in mind because I think it was the year after I had her. She ended up breaking her leg, so like you would see her like kind of like hobble around in like crutches for the next. Are you serious? What is with this freaking castle? We're not ending this until I finish this castle. I'm telling you that right now. But yeah, so Miss Chastain year after, and then Miss Webb, of course, 5th grade, and then Mr. Toplin, 6th grade, and then yeah, I could go over art teacher, gym teacher, all that, but I mean that's all not that big of a deal. Though I will say, so I like my name, and I can't believe I just died again. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna do this one more time, and if I fail, I fail. But just so I could tell the side story. So I've been a guy who I like my name, you know. In case you didn't know, yeah, my name is Johnny, and then we'll just leave it at that. So my name is Johnny, but then growing up in the era that I did, it was kind of annoying at times to have that name because there'd be so many freaking nicknames for you. So such as like Johnny Bravo, Johnny Quest, Johnny 5, Johnny Come Lately by the so that's in the New Kid in Town by the Eagles. And I don't know the name, but it's pretty much that girl that like starts like it's my party and I'll cry if I want to, because apparently the guy that she's crying about in that song, his name was Johnny. So as you could tell, I got a lot of crap for a lot of different things, and it was kind of like annoying after a while. Just like, yeah, I've heard any joke you probably could throw at me. It's just like, yeah, my name is Johnny, haha, so much fun. No, not really. So it got annoying after a while, but eventually I got used to it, and then it's just like anybody once you, oh shoot, okay, I'm gonna just do that. Okay, that was simple. Yeah. Once you kind of go through the or junior high, you kind of learn to accept jokes and make jokes work to your advantage. But elementary school, yeah, just so many nicknames, and not counting like the ones I had from my family. I'm not even gonna go over those ones. I should have died there. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go over those ones because those are okay. Well, we're gonna. Can I jump? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over those ones because those ones are a little bit more interesting and annoying to go over, and I just gotta make sure. Honestly, the only difference going this route in this castle is all these freaking 1-ups. As you can see here, there's one 1-up. There's two. I can't believe. Why am I so off in my pistol whipping capping? I don't understand. Oh, those 2 1-ups disappeared. I missed 2 1-ups like I needed. I'm at like 66. Oh my god, I'm the Antichrist. And I'm at 66 still because I accidentally went into the door. That's awesome. But yeah, so those are pretty much all my stories from elementary school. I mean, that's not including stuff that I have for family when I had in elementary school. But that's essentially most of it. No. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, like I said in previous episode, it's crazy because I did go back after in junior high because we had to do a concert for the elementary school, and it's weird when you're like starting to grow up and then seeing how everything is so miniature in an elementary school. It was like, wow, the teachers here must feel like giants all the time. But yeah, alright guys, I'm going to cut it there for now. We finished most of this area, and then we'll head to the castle next time. So this has been Generation 71, and we'll catch you guys later.